You ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other places people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you get paid for this podcast. What I like about it is starting using it is how easy it is to use. I just upload old episodes of my podcast. I placed it other places, do some editing and tinkering, and voila, that's it. It's that simple. So if you always wanted to start your own podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. And now, let's get on with the show. You ever felt you're being watched sometimes? Have you ever had a cold shiver run down your spine? Sometimes we go through that. Sometimes we look for answers to questions we don't really truly understand. Like, are we truly alone in the universe? Is there life after death? This world is weird. It gets weirder by the day. And in that weird are questions that we have as curious beings known as humans. Tonight, we look into some of those questions and get a little weird. Because we all are just a tad bit weird. Tonight on Weekend Weird. Welcome to Weekend Weird, the show about the weird and mundane out in this world and across this universe. I'm your host, producer, guy on the mic. God, what a hell of a life. RedNick. And I'm joined by my usual co-host that I know is not going to turn into a shit show. It's guess who's back? It's Ogul.
Hello.
Hey, how you been, man?
Good. Glad to be doing one of these again.
Yeah, glad to have you on. At least I know this one won't turn into an absolute shit show like the last one. Oh, man.
What was the last one? I don't even remember.
I did it with my friend Maddie and Mariah. It was... I can't even think of it right now.
Got it. I thought you meant the one that we did together.
No. That one was totally fine. I did one, just last one. It was the McMartin preschool scandal.
Okay.
Yeah, that was turned into a gigantic crap show. Something
okay.
important. But it happens. Hey, this is not professional. This is a semi-professional podcast. Oh man! Well, this episode will be still serious, more true crime, even though it's been done by other podcasters and documentaries made about them. I like to put in my 2 cents about this case. It's the case of Ken McElroy of Skidmore, Missouri, who was known as the town bully. And his murder became one of the great unsolved mysteries of the last century.
Let's make sure we're pronouncing this guy's name correctly. It's McElroy, not McAvoy, right? Cause
No, I was told his last name was pronounced McElroy.
McElroy?
Yeah.
McElroy?
Yeah, McElroy.
Because when you said McAvoy, I think of
No,
James McAvoy.
No, McElroy.
McElroy.
Yeah.
MC Elroy. Dropping that heat. Sorry.
Yes, I'm saying McElroy. That's how I was told it was pronounced.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yes. So
tell us about MC Elroy.
Yes. Well, mainly pronounced as a town bully for most of the people who were around Skidmore, Missouri in the very early 80s, late 70s. Committed dozens of felonies, including assault, child molestation, statutory rape, arson, hog and cattle rustling, and burglary.
Hold up, what? Hog wrestling?
Rustling.
Rustling?
Yes.
What is that?
That's
Rustling?
stealing of animals that is not yours.
Wrestling.
Yeah, rustling.
Interesting. Okay.
No, he's not wrestling.
I was like, okay, but is that really a crime? Or
he's not putting a pig in a headlock going, I'm going to poke you.
It's just like, is that
like, I'm going to beat you at Hogomania.
It's like weird, but is it illegal?
Weird, yes. Wrestling of cattle, I don't think is illegal, but you could possibly get hurt. But rustling, yes.
Okay, got it.
So, Ken McElroy was indicted 21 times, but each time escaped conviction, except for the last one. But still, he was not sentenced to jail because of his lawyer. And finally, the town had had enough and decided we're going to take justice into our own hands. And because of that, certain people that's left in this town that's been there for years think that the town is sort of cursed. So we're going to talk about Mr. McElroy, his life, the crimes he committed in that fateful day when the town had decided to have enough. And we'll talk about what had happened after this street justice had happened.
Okay.
So,
interesting.
Yes, it's a very interesting case. It's been covered by other podcasts and other documentaries. But I figured, again, I want to put in my 2 cents because when I first heard the story, I was like, what? And like I had to look at this a little bit further.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Yeah, let's get weird on Weekend Weird. All right, so Ken Rex McElroy was born in 1934 to some kittens, though. The 15th of 16 children born to poor migrant tenant farming couple Tony and Mabel McElroy, who had moved between Kansas and the Ozarks before settling outside of Skidmore. He dropped out of school at the age of 15 in the 8th grade. Okay. And quickly established a local reputation as a raccoon hunter, cattle rustler, small-time thief, and womanizer. For more than 2 decades, McElroy was suspected of being involved in the theft of grain, gasoline, alcohol, antiques, and livestock, but avoided conviction when charges were brought against him 21 times, often after witnesses refused to testify because he allegedly intimidated them, frequently by following his targets or parking outside of their home and watching them. He was represented by defense attorney Richard McFadden of Gasolin, Missouri. Now, let me ask you a question. You witnessed a crime, you reported. How would you feel if the person you reported a crime has been standing outside your house trying to intimidate you?
I'd be pretty terrified.
Yeah. That was what the town was going through. Skidmore and the surrounding areas were going through every time Ken would commit one of his crimes that he was accused of.
So this guy was what, like mentally ill, I assume?
Supposedly, he had an accident where he fell out of, when he was younger, around, I think, 9 or 10 or 11. He fell off the tractor at his parents' farm and hit his head and had to have a steel plate placed into his head at the time.
Okay.
So they figured that was some people figured that was one of the reasons why he acted the way he acted. Also, the fact that he was able to get away with a lot of stuff. He grew a lot more bold and cocky because he was getting away with a lot of things.
I mean, 21 times.
Yeah, I mean, charged 21 times and none of them ended up sticking.
That's okay. Doesn't speak very highly of the justice system in this town, but
yeah, I mean, it is a small town. I mean, if you look at Skidmore, I think that's what the population of the 2010 census was 284 people.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it used to be a town of 400 plus people in the 80s, and then this crime had happened, and
okay,
people started leaving. It's 2010 census was 284 people, 122 households, 81 families living in the town. There was 172 housing units, an average density of 521.2 square miles. The racial makeup of the town was 99.3% white, 0.4% Native American, and 0.4% of two other races.
All right, I'm gonna have to look this place up. Skidmore.
Yeah, it's northwest Missouri.
Oh Lord, it's so tiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like 8 streets, dude.
Yeah. It's a real small town. Like the 1980 census, it was 437 people. 1990 census, it was 404 people. 2000 census dropped down to 342 people, and then the last census was 284. We haven't taken the 2020 census yet, still being filled out, and that goes out also. If you haven't filled out your census forms, fill them out. Your representation counts, no matter who you are.
So when you Google this place, there's only one photo, and
yeah,
it's a photo, I assume, the plaque of this guy, right, or something.
No, just a plaque. It's what you're looking at is the
some sort of memorial or something.
I think that's the town park.
Oh, in honor of all wars.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have any memorials to this guy. They try to forget this guy ever existed. Yeah.
The only bar in town is called Backwoods Bar and Grill.
Yeah. It's the only bar. It used to be another bar, the D&G. I think that's the same bar, but the D&G Tavern is where this thing took place at.
Who's the poor Google driver who had to drive around these streets?
I don't know, but I feel real sorry.
Image captured in 2013.
Yeah.
2013 was the last time Google drove through this area.
Exactly.
7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, this is depressing. All right, anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No. It's important because this is how small this town is. It's a real small town.
It is like tiny town.
Yeah. Oh my god.
These are the types of places you see, like, unfortunately, on the news for tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
After a tornado just like turns the town upside down.
Yep. So, McElroy also fathered more than 10 children with different women.
Wow.
His last wife, Trina McLeod, met McElroy when she was 12 years old and in the 8th grade. McElroy raped McLeod repeatedly, also burning her house down and shooting the family dog before her parents relented and agreed to allow them to get married. He was going to be charged with statutory rape and child molestation. And he figured the only